If you're a fan of the show, and I hope you are, and you were watching my last video on Halo 5 Guardians, this is precisely what I was talking about. So we're taking an old school, like to the very origins of Assassin's Creed. Now, I know canonically this is not the origin, it's actually Assassin's Creed Origins, but this is the first game in this franchise, which was, I think, released in 2007, if I recall. It was Assassin's Creed, and I actually played this. As a matter of fact, I actually went to the launch party for this. Not really a party, but it was at GameStop, released, and it was, I think, sometime at midnight release or something like that. But those are the kind of experiences that I was talking about in the Halo 5 Guardians video. Those are the things that we're missing out. And imagine a time where you can just go into a store and pick up a physical copy, and sadly, that might not be the case anymore. I was reading an article the other day that there's some unconfirmed reports right now that whatever Xbox is doing in terms of its Project Helix, that it actually might ship with a physical disk drive. Now, I will say this out front to the CEO of Xbox right now. If you ship Project Helix or whatever the hell it's going to be called, if you ship that with a physical disc, it's game over. You have won the console war once and for all. So when this game originally came out, it was so unique, and a lot of us didn't know exactly what it was and what to expect, not knowing at the time that they would spawn an entire genre of games, and then ultimately what it would become today. The original Assassin's Creed, not Assassin's Creed 1, like lazy people say, was absolutely amazing. It was very immersive, it was large, I mean the setting was amazing in Jerusalem, which was really pretty cool, and if I recall correctly, this was actually the first game that I played officially on the PS3, which also was a very unique experience. Which is why I'm really excited for what I have in the studio today. Today we're going to be reviewing PureArts' version of Animus Altair from the original Assassin's Creed. Let's take a closer look. So this is the second of basically a series of statues that are going to come out from PureArts. We already did Animus Naue, which was really fantastic, and if you want to check out that review, it's on the channel. Now, one of the things that I mentioned about these statues is that they're a little bit more rubbery and plasticky than I thought they were, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a little bit more safe because if they fall, again, I've mentioned this, they won't break. Now, the head sculpt on this is really fantastic. Now, one of the things that I really like about this one is, of course, you have the classic Assassin's Creed hood, but it's very textured and very detailed, and you can actually see some wear and a little bit of washing on the actual fabric itself. Not as much beard stubble on the statue as in the photos, but nevertheless, this is a great representation of this statue. Now, of course, you have the classic Assassin's Creed kind of hidden blade. One of the things that I didn't know is that Altair was actually missing a finger. I don't know why I'm just learning that right now, but he definitely is. There's a lot of detail here in terms of the blade. A lot of premium kind of like textures that you see, and what I really like is the modularized armor plates here. It kind of looks like the back of a lobster there. It is this kind of like gunmetal steel, so to speak, which is really cool. And again, I can't get over that he's actually missing a finger, and it's very pronounced there. The blade looks a little bit rusty than I'm like used to, but I imagine that has to do with some of the paint that they decided to use here. But nevertheless, it's really cool. One of the things that I really love about these statues is in many ways they're miniaturized versions of what would be categorized as a premium format statue. Now, the textures I've already talked about, they're really spectacular here, but the color palettes are absolutely wonderful. The brown straps look really good offset against the red sash, which is really noticeable, and it actually goes all the way down to the lower part of the statue, which is really great. Again, the wash here looks absolutely fantastic. The steel components here that offset against the brown leather look great, and it's a nice focal point. For me, of all the main weapons of any kind of Animus is definitely Altair's. It is so classy and elegant, it just looks really nice. This one is very ornate. I love the hilt, especially the actual handle itself. The high silver offset against that brown looks really fantastic, and what I like, it is a focal point in and of itself, and it really offsets the red sash really nice. I just like the way that this looks. It's very understated and muted, but it looks really great. I think one of the things that I also like about the art direction of this piece is definitely in the stance. It is very epic, and at the same time, it is very elegant looking. It's one of those stoic poses, which look really nice. The sculpt in the boots is really fantastic. I always talk about ball joint systems because I'm constantly reviewing Hot Toys figures. This one, again, one of the things I love about these statues is that they're just statues, and you don't have to mess with them, and they look really great. We'll talk about the particle effects in a minute, but this just looks really awesome. Now, if possible, you're definitely going to want to mirror this piece because there's a whole lot going on the reverse side. Now, first of all, I love the cowl, so to speak. Although I can't really call it that, it's really a hood. It's really nice, it's textured as I mentioned before, but the profile on the reverse side is what really catches your eye. Of course, you've got that blade in the back, which is really awesome, and the little shikurins, I guess you can call them that. But just take a look at the sash on the back. I mean, it does run all the way down, and you can see the sculpt in the pouches and whatnot. They didn't have to do this, but it does look really good on the reverse side. I also like that it has this fluidity of motion going from left to right, as if the wind is blowing that direction, which looks really cool. And again, it's just one of those epic parts of this piece, and it looks really cool. Okay, two things that I really like about this base. One, it's very thick, it kind of looks like a brownie, and it gives you an inch on the statue. And two, it has a very small footprint relative to the piece, and I like the architecture, and you see those nice arches and whatnot, very detailed. But most importantly is the pixelated particle effects, especially as they kind of bleed in or blend in, which is really nice. I have to comment on the motion for this piece. It's very rare that statues do this in terms of the art design. Now, this does have light up effects very similar to Animus Altair, and these ones are actually really bright. I would argue that they're brighter than Altair's. This brilliant blue is really cool, and it bleeds into the actual uniform or the costume that he wears, which is really nice. It gives this nice kind of like halo effect, which is really cool. The thing that I am critical about, as always, is that when we get with the USB-C adapter or the thing that you plug in so that you can light this shit up, is notoriously short. I had to use something that I bought at Walmart, but this is not doing it justice. This is really bright, and I just love this blue. It looks really cool. The translucency is definitely beautiful, and you definitely want to light this one up when you're displaying this piece because it looks amazing. So look, I was very impressed with the Nawe figure, and I'm definitely impressed with this one. They're not necessarily holy grail pieces, but they are spectacular, especially at this price point. So if you are looking for an original AC statue of Altair, this is definitely the one. Pick it up because it is getting more and more scarce, and they're going to sell out very soon. So if you want this, you definitely get it right now. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on PureArts version of Animus Altair from the original Assassin's Creed. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next Route Desert Reviews.